Hello friends, good evening, greetings to all of you. So here I, Kunal Nagpal, welcome you once again to this great economic session of ours, wherein we basically discuss the really significant economic news. And today we are going to discuss the great strategic alliance which is happening between Air India and Vistara. Dear friends, this deal between Air India and Vistara is basically going to prove to be a great prospective alliance as revealed by the Tata's Aviation Inside Story. The merger of Tata Group's joint venture with the Singapore Airlines Limited into Air India Limited should help consolidate the aviation sector in the South Asian nation and provide fresh growth opportunities for the flag carrier after years of mismanagement and losses. India needs a high quality, dependable, long haul and ultra long haul airline to meet the country's air connectivity requirements. CAPA, Center for Aviation, said in a statement following the announcement that Vistara will merge with Air India. Singapore Airlines will invest nearly $250 million for a 25% stake in the national carrier, which will become India's second largest airline. So the combination of the Tata Sons and Singapore Airlines will provide Air India with the requisite strategic expertise, industry capabilities, access to the capital, and determination to create an airline that India will be proud of, Sydney-based CAPA said. For the Tata, the merger marks the start of yet another chapter in its long and tumultuous history in aviation. The conglomerate set up Air India in 1932, originally flying mail between Karachi and Bombay, now known as Mumbai. It was taken over by the government in the 1950s and only bought back by Tata last year in a win for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's push for privatization. Tata embarked on two other ventures in the middle of the last decade with Vistara and Air Asia India, but both failed to make India great money proving even prior to the COVID pandemic. The conglomerate also owned Air India Express, established in 2005, leaving it with four different airlines in a highly competitive and fragmented market. Bloomberg News reported on Tata's plan to integrate the four carriers earlier in November. All brands basically combined gave Air India a domestic market share of nearly 26% in October, far behind the market leader Indigo's nearly 57%. So the Vistara merger should give the formerly state-run airline more firepower to aggressively expand, and a huge order for aircraft is already in the works. Air India Chief Executive Officer, the CEO, Campbell Wilson, said last month the airline will basically triple its fleet of 113 aircraft over 5 years. Tata and Singapore Airlines have both agreed to inject fresh capital if needed to help lift Air India back to the highs of decades gone by, when the airline had a glitzier sheen as it sought to reflect India's rising might. It was framed for its advertisements featuring the Bollywood stars as well as the ashtrays designed by the surrealist painter Salvador Dali. We have an opportunity to deepen our relationship with Tata and participate directly in an exciting new growth phase in India's aviation market. Singapore Airlines CEO Goh Koon Fong said Tuesday, "We will work together to support Air India's transformation program, unlock its significant potential, and restore it to its position as a leading airline on the global stage." Singapore Airlines will own a quarter of entity that will have 218 aircraft once the brands are combined, and have access to the lucrative landing and parking slots around the world. The merger also gives it a strong foothold in the busy westbound markets from India, which is dominated by the likes of Dubai's Emirates, sometimes dubbed the unofficial national carrier of India. Singapore Airlines said the new entity will be 4 to 5 times larger than Vistara and help strengthen its multi-hub strategy. Vistara, a full-service carrier, operates flights to 12 international destinations including London, Frankfurt, Paris, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai. The investment could help Singapore Airlines protect itself against the fallout from another COVID pandemic. COVID hit the carrier especially hard because it had no domestic market to serve. The international borders were largely closed. So Fong told Bloomberg News in June the company was basically committed to working with international borders and establishing the overseas hubs. Singapore Airlines can easily fund Air India investment, which should be a better alternative than more outlays in subscale Vistara. Bloomberg intelligence analysts, including Tim Backus, wrote in a note. The carrier can also maintain a strong balance sheet with leverage rising to just 0.8 times. Analysts, including Sharon Chain, said in a separate note. Singapore Airlines rose 0.2% Wednesday. It's about 10% this year. In the meantime, Air India said earlier this month it would acquire Air Asia's local venture and merge it with Air India Express into a single low-cost carrier. The consolidation will likely happen by the end of 2023. Tata and Singapore Airlines have a strong history which is quite long, including an ambitious project in 1994 to start an airline with 100 planes, but the government later refused to allow a foreign entrant and the idea was hence abandoned. The two teams basically once again joined up in 2000 to bid for a stake in the Air India brand when the government sought to sell shares in the carrier. The plan was later dropped because of the political opposition. Tata won its bid for Air India in October 2021, finally ending decades of attempts to privatize a debt-laden airline that was kept alive on years of taxpayer bailouts. Air India has been unprofitable since its 2007 merger with the state-owned domestic operator Indian Airlines Limited. In the years since, Jet Airways India Limited, which bought budget carrier Air Sahara, and Vijay Mallya's Kingfisher Airlines Limited, which took Air Deccan, have both gone bankrupt. So, dear friends, this was today's session, which basically dealt about the great prospects of the great strategic alliance Air India and Vistara. I hope this great strategic session would prove to be quite fruitful to all of you. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.